Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on October 25th, 2012. And basically going off the saying, this was a Championship Thursday show, so basically they put a lot of focus around one title. They had multiple championships, of course, on the line for the night, as well as story building for the upcoming basically for the upcoming next week and the upcoming pay-per-view as well. I like the way they started the show, where you had Hulk Hogan talking to Jeff Hardy about the 4 challenges tonight, how he's going to make it tough for him. And then basically, after hearing all that, walking out there, and he confronts all 4 of his potential opponents, and he's basically, you hear his thoughts. I like that little aspect that you heard his thoughts in his head, because it kind of develops that he's thinking about each challenger and what they could all potentially bring to him. And it was just a nice little different twist of how they did it, instead of them basically him saying that straight to their faces. You just heard his thoughts in that aspect. Matches wise, the Zima Ion RVD match was another pretty good match. They did the rematch from the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Once again, a pretty good match. Nothing overly spectacular with it, but good in-ring action again. And obviously the Samoa Joe and Robbie, I believe this was Robbie T's match for the television title. Also another decent match there. I mean, Robbie T's not all that great in the ring, but Samoa Joe did what he could there and made a decent match out of it. Nothing too great. I like where he is with the television title. It kind of allows him to go out there and just show his dominance on a weekly basis without actually really having much of a storyline going. They don't have much of a storyline going for him, so they allow him to show his dominance and with that television title. That's always that's one thing I always thought was good. Backstage, once again, you had a match. You had a match that was started backstage with Mr. Anderson and Austin Aries, and the backstage confrontation was when Mr. Anderson was eliminated from being for the world title contention, and basically Aries confronted him, and that eventually led into a brawl, which led into the match. Pretty good in-ring action here again. Austin Aries always does a really good match in my mind, and so the match itself, it really didn't do much in the terms of, a full-on story between the two of them, but it did emphasize that Austin Aries is always willing to do what he needs to do to win a match by winning with the brass knucks. Overall, decent match, and basically it will eventually lead to when Austin Aries goes for the world title again, probably at the next pay-per-view. The Miss Tessmacher Tara match, it was okay for what it was. I'm still not liking the whole thing with Jesse being there. It always feels weird when, especially with how the company treats the interaction between men and women. They don't like men really touching the women or hitting the women at all. So it always feels weird when a man is out there during the knockouts matches or any of the women's matches in general. So, but in all honesty, also just feels weird with the whole Tara teaming up with Jesse in this point from Big Brother, and it's not really mixing and mashing well for me at this point in time. But obviously I'm going to give this little story a little bit of time to develop. Maybe I can grow into it, and we'll see where it goes from there. Also, I'm basically going to go straight into the main event on this case, or not really the main event. There's more important things to do. More important things to talk about before the main event, which was the Bully Ray confronting Devon and the Aces and Eights out in the ring. Basically, great promo, great emphasis to what's eventually going to be a really good, what I think is going to be like a really good build-up to a match between Bully Ray and Devon. Obviously, they're going to give a little tease next week of that potential match with the open fight night, because Bully Ray's already challenged Devon. They're going to have a little tease of a match, which will eventually hopefully lead into something much bigger. Obviously, the whole Aces and Eights area itself still has that era of mystery, because you don't really know who the actual leader is. You have Devon as the sergeant in arms, but you don't know who the actual leader is, and basically the only member you actually know is Devon at this point in time. So it's good that they keep a nice little sense of mystery around this whole Aces and Eights group before revealing everything. Maybe they'll reveal somebody else here in the future, or maybe the full-on ringleader will be revealed within the next couple months or so. But we'll see where they go with the Aces and Eights storyline. I'm liking the fact that they're keeping that little air of mystery around them. Now I'll go on to the main event, which was a really good match between Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy. The two of them, when they get in the ring together, they seem to have a good way of telling a story for that particular match inside of the ring, with each of them kicking out of each other's finishers, getting out of the submission holds, doing maybe attempting to do something where they are not a little something that the other would not be used to. They tell a decent story inside the ring, and the match itself was really good. Obviously, Jeff Hardy wins. They're not going to pull the World Heavyweight title off of him, and it basically led into Austin Aries attacking Jeff Hardy from behind with that custom-made world title. Also, announcing the fact that he's going to go for the World Heavyweight title going into the next pay-per-view. And on another little side note on that, the fact that Jeff Hardy carries both the belts around, I'm kind of glad he carries the real, the actual belt that's for the company along with his title. Mostly because I've never been a big fan of custom-made championships. The only reason why I've ever liked certain ones is because they kind of became the full championship over a period of time. So the fact that Jeff Hardy has his personal title to go along with the actual heavyweight championship is a nice little touch there, and I feel like that's a little bit better than him just carrying around his custom-made championship. And that's basically all I thought about all I have for this show. Overall, I felt it was like a really good show. It built into the pay-per-view, it built into the next week. The next week with Open Fight Night, and of course you have the gut check. They had the gut check for the next week going in there. Overall, it's a pretty good show. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.